All right, welcome to Life Extension Live. I'm Dr. Mike, and that is
Dr. Crystal.
So, Dr. Crystal, sometimes people, you look at somebody and they just look like a picture of health, right?
I know.
Right skin tone and color and the nails and all of that. It just looks good sometimes.
Person just looks healthy. And then sometimes we can't really recognize what it is, but sometimes you can look at someone and you can tell something's wrong.
Little off.
Right. And so I think we'll go over some of those things.
So we're going to talk about things today. The big question really is, do the nutrients that we are consuming, the diet that we're eating, influence that kind of stuff? And turns out, maybe so.
Yes.
All right. So on today's show, we're going to be discussing physical characteristics you should look for when it comes to nutritional insufficiencies. They may be an outer indicator of an inner lack of essential nutrients.
That's right.
All right, so let's get right into and again, a lot of these questions again come from Google land. All right? And so the first question is what signs should I look for on my skin to identify a nutritional balance? So that's where we're going to start, skin. Right off the bat, before you start looking at anything, we do a lot of research, right? When somebody says that to you or asks you that as a nutritionist, like what are just some of the first things that come to your mind?
Well, first I look at dryness, does the skin look like it's moisturized? I also look at the color. Does it have kind of a yellowish tint? Is it kind of pale and ashy, ashy looking? So I look at that. And then of course you can look at blemishes or acne on the skin. That can tell you a lot about like the state of inflammation, particularly the need for omega-3s.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's those are kind of things that I look for.
Perfect. I think even from my standpoint as a clinician, that's all really good stuff. Let's start with this first one because this is a big one. You mentioned a little bit. It's yellowish looking skin. It's more common than people think, unfortunately, and it often will indicate a liver issue.
Yes.
Yeah, people who have that, it's like a yellow tinge to it, often the eyes. That's usually where it begins, by the way.
Okay.
You'll see the yellow in the eyes, and then that can spread to all parts of the skin, and it can get pretty intense.
Yes.
The coloring.
But before you kind of jump to conclusions, it's good to take a look at your diet, because we talked about this with my daughter, Kaylin, when she was younger. She was kind of yellowish, kind of orangish looking, and we were so concerned.
Wait, I remember this story.
And we were like, oh no, what's going on?
Yeah.
Does she have jaundice? And we went to the doctor, and the doctor told us, back off on the sweet potatoes and the carrots. You give kids a lot of those.
The beta carotene stuff.
It was too much beta carotene. Yeah. She was getting lots of sun protection, by the way, but she looked yellowish orange, and nothing was wrong with her. So you also have to kind of think about that. This
is really meant to be helpful, not scary, right?
Yeah.
If you do notice a friend, a family, yourself, skin looks a little yellow, you just go see your doctor. As a clinician, I would just run some basic labs. I'd be looking at the liver.
Yeah.
That yellowish comes from something called bilirubin. We're not going to get into all that. But you just got to check what could be going on. You guys, a simple viral infection sometimes can cause the liver to get all congested and cause it. So it doesn't have to mean like the worst case scenario. So it's just some simple labs. And then, of course, if you're overdosing your daughter in beta carotene, you might want to stop doing that.
Now, something else that I look for as a doctor of clinical nutrition, and I see it all the time, is the darker, the discoloration on the body folds.
Okay.
And I see it sometimes on the back of the neck.
Yep.
I often see it on the face, and you can look in the mirror and see if you kind of have like a dark patch.
And you see, like you said here too, like
Yes.
on the base of the neck. Yeah.
On the base of the neck, that can be a sign of insulin resistance.
Yeah.
And so I look at sometimes family members, and
Yeah.
it's a very obvious sign.
Acanthosis nigrans.
Yes.
That's the official pathological name for that, and is associated with insulin issues and maybe linked to diabetes. Again, what do? You can get checked. Check your diet. Go to your doctor. Let them look at your fasting blood sugar and your insulin. Just look at all that stuff. Wonderful news is if there is some abnormalities there, it's all correctable.
That's right. And so when you look at nutrition, you want to think about fiber, making sure you're getting, obviously, lots of fiber. I have to say that on almost every show. Also, making sure that you're getting protein. Protein first thing in the morning. It helps to kind of balance out that, and fiber,
That's good,
balance out your blood sugar throughout the entire day. So those are kind of some nutritional components to consider.
Do you ever, a little bit of a tangent, what about, so I've heard of that, protein in the morning when you first got, what about protein as a snack at night before you go to bed? Have you ever heard of that too?
I have. I've heard of that, especially when people find that they wake up in the middle of the night hungry and wanting a snack.
Okay.
So if you are one of those midnight snackers, or you like wake up to use the restroom in the middle of the night and you're like, oh, I need some food.
Yeah.
Then often having protein before bed can prevent that. The thought is maybe there's some fluctuations in your blood sugar.
Yeah. So if I'm going to quiz you.
Okay.
What if,
I'm used to it.
What if you saw someone with like big red, rashy, rosy cheeks? Great example of this. A lot of people, especially kids, when they fall asleep at school, when they come up, they got that because they were putting pressure there. Well, imagine seeing that, but there was no pressure. There was no falling asleep.
So
they just have
cheeks.
that rosy look. What's vitamin? I'm even helping you.
No, I'm good. So you think niacin.
Boom!
Or niacinamide, so vitamin
B3. Yeah, low levels of B3 can cause that rosy little look. It's common in kids too. You'll see that. They just need to up a little bit more of their veggies, which is hard, right?
Yeah.
A lot of kids, they want to eat chicken nuggets, right? And French fries.
They love chicken nuggets.
Yeah. And so
and fries.
Often they are missing a little bit of the B's here and there, and they get the little rosy cheek. Just give them some B's.
Yeah.
There you
All
go.
right.
All right, that is some issues with the skin. Let's now go to another question from Google Land. How can changes in hair health indicate an underlying issue? So now we're moving to the hair. Now, you guys, this is the problem with this one is there's so many things that could happen, right? I mean, first of all, you might have thinning hair and losing it. It might just be because you get a little older.
It could be hormone related. For sure. Estrogen.
Yeah.
Progesterone
issues, all that kind of stuff. It's your classic androgenic alopecia. It's the hormone. It's the testosterone-based hair loss for guys. Anyway, so there could be a lot of things going on, but here's what I think is helpful. If you've noticed those changes quickly, if you've noticed thinning, like out of nowhere, you're like, oh my gosh, I have never noticed this before. My hair is thinner. Or real quickly, my hair is brittle and dry.
I was going to say that, Dr. Mike. I was thinking just thinner, just kind of, it
doesn't feel right. Yeah.
It feels rough to the touch, like not really soft.
And it's that time, right? If you're having hormonal issues and hair loss because you're getting a little older, it's not. It's little by little, right?
Yeah.
It's little by little, although some guys do lose their hair pretty quick. But anyways, just put that aside. It is gradual for most people. We're talking about, you've never noticed it before and all of a sudden you're noticing this. Or maybe you're washing your hair and you literally pull out a clump and you've never done that before. That's where you got to start thinking, okay, is this an indication of something beyond my hair?
Right, and you typically think, first things first, I would say see a dermatologist right away.
Yes.
Because if it's something related to the immune system, particularly, attacking your hair follicles, then that can be slowed and stopped, but you want to act quickly.
Act quickly, see the dermatologist. And by the way, the dermatologist, they can look beyond like that issue too, and right there draw some bloods for like thyroid testing. I mean, you can get all that done.
Yes. But when you think about nutrients, if that is the case, think about probiotics, think about vitamin D, these nutrients that can help to balance and modulate the immune system.
Yeah. Well, we have a whole list of nutrients that can be helpful here. If you don't have enough biotin, for instance, don't have enough biotin, you're going to have some hair issues. If you don't have enough vitamin D, that might speed up male pattern baldness and all that kind of stuff. Iron deficiency.
There it is again. Iron will be probably throughout every single physical characteristic that we'll mention.
And the next one is right second place, zinc. Iron and zinc seem to be a common picture in a lot of these, the way we physically look.
Well, you think about it, Dr. Mike, if I'll go back to iron, you need oxygen to your tissues. You need to get oxygen, blood flow, and that's what iron is all about.
It's all about.
So if you're not getting enough oxygen to your scalp, for example,
you're going to have issues there.
You're
the hair
going to
follicle
have
suffers.
issues.
Yeah. Remember that great point. Getting that oxygen in, that's where your cells can rev up energy production and all that. And if a cell can't make energy, it can't do its job.
Yeah.
That's about it.
That's about it. But you, generally speaking, though, with hair, you always think about your B vitamins.
B
of course,
vitamins,
iron.
the biotin we mentioned, iron.
Check your thyroid, get some iodine, making sure you're getting plenty of trace minerals.
Yeah. And then you can also see your dermatologist, make sure there's not any, some skin thing issue going on as well. Okay, let's move on. What do abnormal nail conditions
reveal? I think we have some cool pictures
about my health. You know what's interesting about the nail stuff is on Google Land, these are the highest trending questions. People ask more questions about their nails than they do about their hair. Did you know that?
I did not know that, Dr. Mike.
Boom, right off the Google Press. So we have nice pictures to go, I think, along with all of these, right? First one is your favorite because you love to say it.
Oh, God, because I can barely say it. The lunula. How did I do?
Perfect.
Lunula. I had to practice that several times before the show.
Well, we have a picture. Do we have a picture?
We do have a picture because I'm looking at mine and I don't think you can see that from here.
But we did a little short for our Life Extension YouTube page called Wellness. Go check that out, by the way. And we took a little picture of my finger because I have a nice lunula on mine, and so we can show that. I know, but so there's mine.
Missing.
But Dr. Crystal, we also took a picture of hers, and you have an absent one. What does an absent one mean?
Absent one can mean it goes back to me. I take iron. I have iron deficiency anemia. I am managing it. Not quite enough to get my lunula back, but I am hopeful that it will return. So it could be a sign of iron deficiency, anemia, malnutrition in general can also be, it can indicate malnutrition.
All right, so there you go. You got to check that out. And then they're very common is spoon-shaped. Mm-hmm. Spoon-shaped nails are often associated with, here it is,
iron.
Low iron.
Or protein.
Protein was going to be the big one I was going to say.
Sorry.
I think that's fine. You're the nutritionist, but I think it's the lack of protein is often manifested in this spoon shape. And we got a picture of it coming up. That spoon shaped nail is kind of like one distinction though, Dr. Chris, we got to be careful. If your finger and your nail are both kind of rounded and spooned, that's different. That could be a lung issue, right? But if you're just talking about that spoon-shaped nail, that's iron, that's protein.
Yeah. And then there's the transverse lines.
And guess what that is?
Zinc.
Zinc.
So you want to think about zinc. And then when we say malnutrition, because I've mentioned that a couple of times, that's usually from a nutritionist perspective. And we'll talk about the training that we go through for this. But it helps us to identify eating disorders. You have a client coming in and someone who they don't have a healthy relationship with foods, and then you can start seeing it during your nutrition focused physical exam. Also like chronic kidney or liver disease
issues as well. Okay. All right, let's go into now, and by the way, those were the 3 most common nail ones on Google. Let's go into now my eyes, because this was also in Google land. How can my eyes reflect nutrient deficiencies? Well, first of all, we look at color. Now, we mean color, we're talking about the whites around.
Yes.
Right? The whites around your eyes, when they change in color, there could be some issues. We already mentioned this before, yellow. You go get your liver checked. That's all. Go get that checked. What about persistent red eyes?
Yeah, so what we think typically are dry eyes, and you know if you have dry eyes, but one nutrient that can help dry eyes that you may need to add in are omega-3 fatty acids. We know that those omega-3s help to prevent the evaporation of, the lubrication in your eye.
So dry, it's definitely omega-3s. Don't I remember something about bilberry? Wasn't that also good for helping with tear production or something?
That sounds good.
I'm going to check that out.
Or is it maki?
Maki berry. It's maki berry. Boom. This is a live show. Boom. Maki berry. You can check that out as well. And be careful. One of the things, if you do have dry eyes a lot, and you're using kind of some of the over-the-counter eye drops, remember, those are really, the indication for those are occasional. You don't want to be using those all the time, because it's almost like your eyes start saying, well, I don't need to make as many tears. And you actually become more and more dependent on those drops.
I have read that, Dr. Mike.
So
I think he's telling the truth. I think he knows what he's talking about.
I've only been in this business for 20-something plus years. Actually getting closer to 30. Think about it. Gee, 30 years? I did start to think about it. All right, let's move from color to bags.
So unfortunately, we use all of these different, they have like the under bag, the under eye, kind of little patch thing that you can put under your eyes in the morning. Sometimes it's fluid retention. Sometimes you just need to get some drainage going. I do this sometimes in the morning, stimulate it, a poor night's rest. Sometimes it can be swollen. Also,
genetics.
Salt. But so I'm kind of saying all those things, but really, it's genetics.
It's genetic.
How much?
Even my side of the family being Greek, my mom's side, the dark circles around eyes, more of the baggy stuff in the men, very common. That's why I have to do a lot of makeup. What are you going to do? When I always did that as a clinician, especially if I'm seeing it chronically in people, I start talking about sleep. I start talking about stress in your life. We maybe need to have those kind of conversations.
Yes, especially if you typically have not had bags.
Yeah. It's like all of a sudden you have them, and then you follow up with something, and you have them and I'm like, okay, what's going on that you're not letting? We need something we need to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah, because it can often indicate simple stress and sleep-related issues too. Now, what about growths on or near the eyelid?
Oh,
right.
Yes. So there is a condition. Let me make sure I say this right. Xanthelasma.
Yep.
Xanthelasma. And this is where, when you have cholesterol depositing kind of in the upper lid of the eye. And so it's a sign of high cholesterol.
High cholesterol, yeah. I mean, I've seen some people with very prominent
Yeah.
Now, in most of those cases, if it's really bad, you already know it. You've already been diagnosed. There's already kind of more, it may be a familial family connection to your issue with cholesterol. It's already well known. But people just through diet and lifestyle and too much cholesterol, you can see maybe not as prominent, but you can still see it sometimes too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's really just a sign that you need to get your cholesterol managed, get it under control.
Yeah. Dr. Crystal, what if my eyebrows, what if my eyebrows, little by little, are just shrinking and thinning out? Is that just age? What do you think?
It's hormonal, and specifically thyroid.
Thyroid, yeah.
And with thyroid, you often see it on one side.
Yeah, you'll see, and it's usually the end of the eyebrow is what starts getting thin. You'll notice that it's like, instead of being this long, your eyebrow, now it's like that long, and it's shrinking from the end part.
And you're having to use more of your eye pencil or powder.
Now, if that comes along with drier skin, drier hair, some weight issues, thyroid,
Yeah.
100%. What about eyelash? It's hard to say. Eyelash loss.
So I didn't know much about this.
I made us look it up. Yeah.
You did.
I did.
He was really concerned about the eyelashes.
Well, we're talking about everything else. I was like, well, why are we skipping the eyelashes?
So we researched this and found information. Vitamin D deficiency has been linked to eyelash loss and slower growth cycles. So
see,
if you want those wispy lashes, get some vitamin D.
Or you can just get fake ones.
Well, but the fake ones are a hassle, Dr. Mike.
We have them all over our makeup area. Anyways, okay, moving on. Let's talk about now the mouth and what that could signal with nutritional problems. Let's start with the tongue. Healthy tongue should be light, dark to dark pink. And that's really about it. If it's pale, that's another sign of anemia, maybe iron issues. If it gets real on the dark side, that could be
B vitamin
vitamins.
Deficiency, niacin in particular.
One thing about the tongue, if you are looking at your tongue and you stick it out and you're looking in the mirror, and you know what's normal to see is it bounces around a little bit.
Oh.
Those fasciculations of the tongue are 100% normal.
Okay.
You don't need to worry about that. Yeah.
So if you have to stick it out and then it should be
it doesn't like the tongue being stuck out. It's gonna do this a little bit, and that's normal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a big, strong muscle. It's one of the strongest muscles in the human body. Yeah. Okay. Now, if your tongue, and when you look at it, you should see little, like, they're called papillae, just little boop boop bump.
You can feel it.
Yeah. If it's totally smooth, what do you think?
So if it's smooth, you're thinking deficiencies in vitamins B2, B3, B6, iron deficiency. Also think food allergies or celiac disease.
Yeah. Canker sores. Do you ever get canker sores in your mouth?
I don't.
Woo! I've had a couple. They're not fun. You could get them on your cheeks. You can get them on your tongue.
So is yours related to allergies? Because that's what we have here.
I do have bad allergies, right? I do. So I wonder, but I don't get it that often. But I have friends with bad allergies that get canker sores almost all the time.
Really?
It's like they're almost, and they move. One time it's over here, another time it's over there. Yeah.
Well, one thing that we do know is you kind of have to figure out what's causing it from your diet, because it could be a number of things.
Yeah. We have a list here. So canker sores when it comes to food. Chocolate, right? Well, if you eat a bunch of chocolate, and you might want to consider that, right? Coffee, peanuts.
Oh, you know what? I do have problems with peanuts. But I went on this peanut spree. I was eating roasted peanuts all day, every day. I don't know if you remember when I went through that peanuts, and it was like every day I had my salted peanuts, and that did cause a problem.
You know, you have this habit of really just, when she goes into something, she goes into it. You do, whether it's exercise, different time, man, you dive all in.
I do.
It's so funny. So peanuts, cereals, almonds, strawberries, cheese. Thank God that don't bother me. Tomatoes, and then gluten.
For some
gluten
people,
itself.
sensitivities.
So think about that. If you eat some of that stuff and you get like a little sore, if it's on the tongue, sometimes it can look white. It kind of stands out from the rest of those little papilla things. So something to think about. Insulin resistance could be a factor as well. Again, see your doctor, get some basic blood work. Very simple. Let's move to the gums.
Yes, so
Yeah.
pale gums, anemia.
Iron deficiency.
I wanted to add this in, but this is just inflammation, the red line running against the edges of the teeth. So
Yeah.
right at the bottom.
Yeah. If you,
I think we have a picture.
That's gingivitis. Maybe we have a picture for that. And listen, and if you're brushing your teeth and you spit a little pink.
Oh, pink in the sink.
Remember that? Yeah, that's what it
Yes.
was. It's pink in the sink. That's a sign of inflammation right
Yeah.
there. That's a sign of gingivitis. Get that. We had somebody on who talked about this, and one of the things that I remember learning was when you're with your general dentist, hygienist, or the dentist himself or herself, you should tell them if there's some pink in the sink. Let them know that, because they may not visibly see on just a simple exam.
So pink in the sink. Also vitamin C,
Yeah.
which we do know, severe vitamin C deficiency. You're going to have
Well-
more than just a little pink in the sink.
Yeah, you're going to scurvy.
Right. That's where I'm going.
Yeah, we don't want that at all. So again, hopefully, these are just helpful things, because here's the reason we wanted to do this show. We wake up every day, and the first thing we do is we look at ourselves in the mirror. And then we get ready and we look at ourselves in the mirror. And then we leave, and before we do, we look at ourselves in the mirror.
Well, and then we get in the car.
And then we're looking at
immediately
ourselves in the
flip down
mirror. And then we get to work, and we're like, listen, you talk to yourself. No one's going to talk to you more than you yourself, and no one's going to look at you more than you yourself. And so it's just helpful to know some of these things. The key thing is when you see something, no panic. No. You just go, especially if it's consistent, you just go see your doctor. That's all. Let them work it up. Tell us a little bit about, I wanted to throw this in there as well. Dr. Crystal is a doctor of clinical nutrition. Tell us a little bit about the training that you guys go through, right?
Yes.
To help identify all this stuff.
Yes, so this training specifically was a part of my my Doctor of Clinical Nutrition curriculum. And we would have these workshops. And the workshops were going over all the things that we talked about, how to conduct a proper nutrition-focused physical exam. Head to toe, like a systematic head to toe. And you start, obviously, it's also incorporating like the BMI and some of the assessments that most of you are familiar with. But we look at your nails, we look at your tongue, we look at your gums, we look at your hair, your skin. We even, you can see if someone is properly, properly hydrated to see if the skin can kind of pop back in place. And so that's just a part of our training. And if you really want a full workup, the registered dietitians are also trained in this as well. So you can find an RD, a certified nutrition specialist, and they have special training on conducting the physical exams, specifically looking for nutritional deficiencies.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Sure.
I think they need to know exactly all the. It's extensive, the work
Well,
you
yes, and we say talk to your doctor, see your doctor, but what you can do is just ask your doctor if you need a referral to refer you to a licensed professional, a licensed nutrition professional. And your insurance will cover it.
Yeah, and you guys are you'll know when it's time to. Okay, I need for you to go back and see your doctor with this.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
We have a partnership.
Yeah.
With your doctor, and then we kind of refer back and forth.
That's fantastic.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
You go to the expert.
Excellent information today. I thought this was fantastic. If you want more information about your hairs, your skin, or your nails, you can visit lifeextension.com/HSN. That stands for hair, skin, nails. There you go. It's right there on your screen. And when you're at Life Extension, Dr. Crystal, they can shop around and use the discount code LELIVE.
That's right.
And they get 10% off, $50 or more, plus free shipping and handling. Don't forget, we go live every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. So wherever you watch us, please review, talk to us, like us, share. That's really important. Shares and reviews are really important to us, so go ahead and do that for us. Don't forget, we go live every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm Dr. Mike, and that is
Dr. Crystal.
We'll see you next time.